The Thabo Bester escape case has been postponed. The Bloemfontein Magistrates Court has allowed Bester's lawyers, Advocate Jeremiah Phela and instructing attorney Thileto Ndo, to recuse themselves from the case. Ndo faces assault and attempted rape charges, while Phela is facing charges of fraud. Both lawyers insist that they don't see why their personal cases will impact on the Bester trial, while Bester appeared briefly and virtually in court. The matter's going to resume on the 8th of August. So as we've just shared with you, back to court with Thabo Bester, his alleged girlfriend and accomplice, Dr. Nandipa Magudumana, and 7 other suspects in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. And Bester was appearing in court via that video link from the Kgosi Mampuru II Correctional Centre in Tshwane. And that's where his designer sweater became the subject of animated social media conversation. And again, this development around his advocate and instructing its attorneys withdrawing from the case. And we've shared with you some of the detail as to why that was. But let's cross now to our senior SABC news reporter, Chriselda Lewis. She was there, joins us now. Chriselda, good afternoon, good evening to you. We'll get to the sideshow around Bester shortly. But let's start with the serious court business and some of the highlights out of today's developments. We've also shared what's happened with the lawyers. Just give us some more detail on that.
Well, that's right, Iman. As you correctly pointed out, the matter has been postponed to the 8th of August. Well, this is as investigations continue. We understand from the state that they're still analysing cell phone records as well as bank statements, and, that there are likely going to be 3 more arrests quite soon in the prison escape saga involving Thabo Bester. Bester will now also have a new lawyer, as you indicated, going forward after Advocate Jeremiah Phela, as well as his instructing attorney Thileto Ndo, withdrew from the matter this morning. Sources are telling me, Iman, that there may have been some conflict there and even possible non-payment for services from Bester. You'd also recall, that Phela and Ndo took over, Iman, the case from Ishmael attorneys after they had also withdrawn from this particular matter. Let's take a listen to Advocate Jeremiah Phela when he told the court that he and Ndo were recusing themselves.
We request to bring an application
for recusal on this matter. Myself and the instructing attorney, Mr. Ndo. We had a discussion with our client, Mr. Thabo Bester, and we came to amicable agreement that there won't be further instructions from today for me and Mr. Ndo. So based on that, Your Worship, we do not have further instructions to proceed with this matter.
All right, thanks for that clip and for taking us inside court, Chriselda. So remind our audience why his alleged accomplices charged with assisting him in his brazen escape from the Mangaung Correctional Centre last year are appearing in person and he's not.
Well, Iman, we'll get to that, but Bester, you would know, following that clip that you just played, will now be represented by Kabelo Matia, and you would recall, the latest arrest also in this matter is that of Zanda Moyo, who is believed to have, been the driver of Dr. Nandipa Magudumana. He now has a lawyer who told the court that, his client would not be applying for bail. That did not take place today. And his lawyer also says that he needs to, fully consult with Moyo on, amongst other things, seemingly an arrest of Zanda Moyo that took place in 2015. But we're not sure yet, Iman, at this stage, what that relates to. Moyo is also believed, Iman, to have helped Dr. Nandipa Magudumana claim the body of Katlego Bereng, who you would recall, his body was used as a decoy in the escape of Thabo Bester. Dr. Nandipa Magudumana's father, who is also out on bail of 10,000 Rand, also basically bringing an application there, Iman, asking the court that he not be compelled to appear in person in court on August the 8th, citing that if it's going to be another postponement, basically, it's a bit far for their client to travel from KwaZulu-Natal, but the court had basically declined that request. Let's take a listen to what Magistrate Muhlolo Khabisi said.
Accused number 2 and accused number 8, both of you are on bail subject to conditions. You are both warned to come back to this court at 8:30 in the morning and to remain in attendance. Failure to appear, warrant of arrest will be issued. Your bail will be provisionally cancelled. Bail money will be provisionally forfeited to the state.
So, Iman, all the accused are back in court in August on that 8th day of August. The only two that are out on bail are Zolile Segeleni as well as Nastase Janssen. What is also outstanding, you'd also recall, Iman, is that we don't yet have a date as yet for Dr. Nandipha Makudumana's appeal challenging that High Court decision where she basically challenged her deportation from Tanzania, where she and Thabo Bester had been found. And getting to your question, Iman, essentially, there had been since the very beginning concerns about, a possible flight risk here. Remember that Thabo Bester is a convicted criminal. He is serving time in jail. And the matter that he's attending to in front of court at this particular stage pertains to his escape from the Mangaung prison. So that is the matter that he's dealing with currently. The Department of Correctional Services, I guess, and all the other parties involved felt that to consistently have Thabo Bester being transported from the Kgosi Mampuru prison in Pretoria to attend the court proceedings here in Bloemfontein would be a risk. It would also be time consuming. Hence, he is appearing in court virtually. No surprise there. That also happened the last time when he appeared in court. Dr. Nandipha Makudumana, you would recall, also appeared at the time virtually, but she was back in court this morning. She's, of course, being transported from the Biza Makate Correctional Center, which is in Kroonstad. So the others also appearing in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court in person. We're expecting that to continue. Whether there'll be any changes, Iman, going forward, given that Bester now has a new lawyer, those are certainly things that will be communicated in due course. But what we're expecting currently, and that was confirmed by the state, is that 3 more arrests or additional arrests are expected quite soon, or I guess in between now and the next appearance in August.
So a lot on the go in terms of impact and influence over this case, Chriselda. As you say, instability in the legal team. How long away from an actual trial will this put this particular case as to the charges of all of those members? And as you say, more arrests as well. What impact is it going to have in terms of this bigger body of evidence and what the court is likely to hear? But just a quick aside, as always with Bester, much of the chatter revolves around him. His sweater becomes a top discussion item as well, Chriselda.
Oh, absolutely, Iman. And I see many people asking me on social media why we chose, to indicate that Thabo Bester had been wearing a designer item. Remember, this is not the first time that Thabo Bester, at least, when he appeared the last time, he was also wearing a designer item as well. And that has really raised the eyebrows of many. You must recall the reason why we also indicate as such in our reportage is precisely because there are a number of individuals who have come forward and others who have indicated to me that they're quite scared to do so, who allege that they were scammed by Dr. Nandipha Makudumana as well as Thabo Bester. You would recall, Iman, an instance that I can refer to is the exclusive interview that the SABC had conducted with Dr. Mereka Njani, who's Dr. Pashi, who, she says she was lured allegedly by Dr. Nandipha Makudumana, who wanted to be friends with her, and then basically told her that they had owned a media company and that a TK Nkwana, who she then subsequently got to learn was in fact Thabo Bester, they had asked allegedly for large sums of money running into millions to facilitate or to assist her to run this women's empowerment conference in the United States of America. So you also know that came into play with Dr. Pashi's passports being handed to Dr. Nandipha Makudumana. We saw the Home Affairs Minister also being brought into that furore, if I may. And, many people asking why we chose, to mention what he was wearing, precisely because there are people who have claimed or have come forward, others that the SABC have spoken to, have said they're too afraid to do so, but have confirmed to us that they've lost sums of money either through the company, allegedly, the property company, allegedly owned by Thabo Bester and allegedly by Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. So, many saying that possibly what we will probably see in the run-up to whenever this trial starts is accusations of monies that were allegedly swindled from a number of individuals and, the lifestyle, I guess, that was then financed by these alleged scams that had taken place had resulted in this lavish lifestyle that was being lived by the two. So there's been quite a lot of, a commentary around, our reportage and why we choose to mention certain things. But I certainly did so in light of the fact that some of these designer items, often when we speak to individuals who claim and have actually opened a case, in this instance, Dr. Pashi, who's opened a case against Dr. Nandipha Magudumana as well as Thabo Bester, would argue that, this lifestyle that was financed was allegedly done so after they had been scammed of a lot of money, including millions.
Chriselda, a number of threads run through the tapestry of the story. Thank you very much for making sense of it for us. Chriselda Lewis is the SABC's senior news reporter, bringing us the latest in the Thabo Bester matter.